Hi, welcome to this new week. Same project though, we are looking at Canon Fodder and we have made some great progress last week. We have found the quickest way to get from one point to another, which is amazing. Plus, we can actually remove some of the nodes and it will find its way anyway. That's what we want to do this week. We want to completely reduce the distance between the nodes because at the moment there's 100 pixels between each one. We want to reduce that so that it's a lot more fluid and a lot nicer to use. We might add some graphics this week, but what we want to do is we want to remove some nodes. So we want there to be nodes where there's a tree or whatever that we don't want it to draw. So we've got some obstacles. So let's get started. Without further ado, let's get started. So this is where we got up to last week. You can click anywhere and it will find the quickest way to get to roughly where you click. All right, so if I click up here, it will find its way roughly to there. But at the moment, there's only a 3x3 grid. So these are our nodes here. There's only a 3x3 grid of possible places it can go. We want to reduce that heavily. So as I always do with this kind of thing, whenever I want to have a whole load of values, I create a data object and I just paint it color, whatever I feel like. If you're in the UK, that is definitely a Cadbury's color because I like chocolate. And we're going to call this like, I don't know, node data store. That's where we keep the node data. We probably should keep it shorter, so I'm going to get rid of the store, just node data. Okie dokie. So what I want to do is, well, first of all, I want to put some data in the node data. So we're going to have is it going to be the node distance? So node x or node width. So what's the distance between each node width-wise and node height? What's the distance between the nodes going up? I don't know whether I always like to use x and y. I don't like to use width. So node distance x, I think would be better. And then node distance y. And at the moment, we're going to keep this at 100 because what we want to do is just do it as it is now. We don't want to change anything. And then node amount x. So the number of nodes x, which at the moment is 3, and the number of nodes on the y, which again at the moment is 3. So we're going to go through our code and just update anywhere that we have used something else. So here, for the columns, so going down, we've said 3, and we just want to replace this for node amount y. And then we've got the same here. We've got 3, so this time it will be node amount x. And that's all okay. Okay. Here we've got 100 for the rows. And actually we don't need node distance x and y because we want them to be square, and they should always be square. We actually only need that once. So what I'm going to do is cancel that, and I'm going to just delete that one. I don't know whether you can actually. Can you delete them? Oh, you can delete them. That's cool. And we just have node distance. And what I'm going to do is just change this 100 for node distance. No. Can't do that. It's no distance of this object. There we are. Same with this one. Simple. Right, what I'm going to do now is what I always do when I'm about to do something really monotonous and boring. I'm going to edit all of the values that are obvious. I might see you again when I do these because these are a bit more complicated. So I'm just going to go through and do exactly what I've done here to these next ones. Okay, that didn't take long because it was only these two. Right, so with this one, this is our lines going to the right. So let's just go back to our diagram. This is our lines going to the right. So this one here, in fact, let's put it in red. So this one here. and then obviously this one and this one, etc. Right? So we need to bear that in mind. I think this one actually would be quite straightforward. I'm not sure this changes much. So let's have a look. Let's edit the first one. That's going to stay the same, apart from this bit, right? So where the player is currently at, where the node is, sorry. So, and the first row is going to be 0. It's always going to be 0. But here we notice that we've times by 3 to get to the next one, right? So we added 3. But we only added 3 because that's how many ones we had in our, like how many rows we had, right? We had 3 rows, therefore we added 3. Okay? So to get to the next to get to the next row, it's how many columns we have, isn't it? Why have I got rows and columns the wrong way around? I don't know. I think I've just completely mucked up all of these. You've probably said in the comments, why have you got rows and columns the wrong way around? And that's my bad. Oh dear. Anyway, it's row. That's definitely columns. Why have I said? It's one of these things that I go, do I have to redo all the ones I've done so far? And I go, no, because I don't have time. But wow, that is a massive mistake. I have got rows and columns mixed up throughout all of these because reasons. Anyway, we add 3 because there's 3 across. Okay, so we need to change that in here. So it's not times 3. It will be times the amount across we have, which for whatever reason I have gone through the wrong one. But anyway, we've called that X, haven't we? Oh my goodness. You know when you just have that realization you've got everything wrong. Okay, now for the next bit, actually we're just going to be +1 to that. So let's paste that in, just +1 to that. Simples. And we're just going to go through this, +1 to that, and then to that. Simple, right? But here we've said when it's less than 2. Well, actually, it's when it's less than the node amount X. So it was 3, but then -1. Okay, when it's lower, when it's not the last one, and the last one will be at index whatever. So if we've got 10, it would be at index 9. So we don't want it at 9. Okay, simple. Because the fast loop is index based 0, but our node, like our fast loop, is index loop. What am I doing? Node data 1, node amount X. No, I'm an idiot. Undo that. Undo this one here. There we go. -1. There we are. Oh, that's thrown me that I've got rows and columns mixed up. It's like the first time I've ever done that. That's really awful. So I'm just gonna go through all these. This time it'll be Y. Yeah. And then rows will be X. Cols will be Y. Rows will be yeah, that can stay the same. And then cols will be Y. Now, something I can do, I haven't changed these yet, but it should still work fine. And it does. Because I've kept the values the same, you can test this whenever you want. It should always do the same thing, right? Okay, now I don't really want to go through these like step by step with you because I don't know how interesting they are. But all of the first ones will always be the same because that's where the current node is. So we can just quickly edit those. And I'm just going to do the first ones. That should be quite quick to do. Paste in the new one. And then the second one will just be of the first one, second part of the first one. So here it would be +3 because it's down a row, but we know now it will be plus whatever that is. And then it will be the inverse for the second one. So paste that in. Oh, need to copy the first bit. And we just need to go the inverse of that. So, and then this one is plus that. And then paste in the new bit. This is hard work. Right, so this one says +1 +3. So paste that in, and it's plus the node amount there. And then the second bit is, this is the +1 +3. So instead of the +3 plus the node amount, copy that and paste that into the next one. I normally pause this, but I don't know whether you'd miss something here. And then we've got -1 +3. Paste that in instead of the +3. Now, you noticed last week I split that up into -1 +3 just to make this a bit easier. So we can see that that +3 is just the going down a row, or a column as I call them now. I might put a comment in the video. I probably won't remember. But I'd like to put a comment in the video going, please, every time I say row, just pretend I said column, and the same vice versa. I think that's everything. Probably isn't. Let's see if it works. And you should really test this as you go along, but I'm pretty confident this would work. Cool. Now, you might go, like you always do, maybe, what's the point? Like, all you've done now is the same as you had before. But now I can just change anything I want. So I could change this to 50. And so the distance between the nodes is now 50. Right, so notice that the player starts at 0, 50, or sorry, 50, 50, right? But the distance between them is not working because, that's interesting. So that should work. Oh, unless there's 100s that I've missed. Probably are. There's some 100s somewhere that I've missed. No distance. Is it in here? Ah, here it is. Yep. So here I've written 100, but this is going to be a problem. I think I can convert this. So what I do is actually first of all, instead of 100, it's the alterable value of node distance. But I think you can times it by 1.0 to say, look, I want this to be a decimal. I think. Question mark. I think that works. Let's see whether it works. I have no idea. Oh, it works. It works. There we are. Cool. And what I need to do now is update the string thing so we can keep an eye on what's going on. There we go. And it should be 9 down here. How cool is that? Right. Now, I want a bigger grid. So let's do, I don't know, 10 by 10. So this is like 100. Wow, that has failed spectacularly. Uh-oh. Crash. No, abort! Abort! Okay. Now, let's play a game of when did I last save? When do you think it was? A while ago. And this is what happens when you have these. Now, remember what I said about being worried how optimized this was and whether it would have a bit of an overload. I thought 100 would be quite a reasonable amount of nodes for it to cope with, but as you can see here, It did not like that. And this is just what you have, and this is why you should save. And I think you can. I think it auto saves. It probably almost certainly won't. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and recover this. So I'm going to press pause and see how it goes. There's hope. So what used to happen with Click and Play, and actually I think whatever it's called, Game Factory, is it Multimedia Fusion as well? But what used to happen was there was one program that did everything, and then to help with crashes, I think only in Clickteam Fusion, the exe runner is counted as a separate program. So if it crashes, it doesn't crash Clickteam as well, which is quite a relief because then I could save this. But we have a problem because we're going to need quite a few nodes for this project, and we can see that as soon as we add 100 nodes, it crashes. It does not like it. So I'm going to see what point it doesn't like it. So we're going to do 5 by 5. And it's acting very strange. So there must be something hard-coded still as a 3 for it to be doing that. Well, let's delete that. We don't need that anymore. And you can see here I've done ×3 here. So that's going to be a problem. That should be times the width. So it will be in here, and it will be the node amount y. I think the rest of it is okay. Let's just check it. There we are. And I'm outside the boundary there, so that's fine. Okay. That works nicely. Cool. Let's save it. I'm not gonna fall for that again. And let's try 10 by 10 again, and let's see whether it was just that I clicked outside the boundary. It seems fine. It could be that I just clicked outside the boundary, but wow, that is so powerful. So let's do 20 by 20, but then let's make this 10. So only 10 pixels between them. And it doesn't like it. I don't know why it doesn't. Yeah, there we are. Crashed. It didn't like it. Okay. Yeah, so I'm wondering whether to remove the diagonals. Maybe the diagonals are just asking too much for it. Let's see whether that works. No. Yeah. It's just too much. Too much for it to cope with. But the weird thing is, it doesn't crash at the start. So making the nodes is fine. It's not crash now. Yeah. It's only the second you click. It's the algorithm. Oh, the algorithm's just taking way too long. So if I click, it's just taking way too long. So there could be something in the editor, whatever, here, that maybe is an issue. So auto change X, auto change Y. Let's get rid of all of that. Auto change direction. Let's get rid of that. And auto step. Let's just get rid of everything. Let's see whether that makes it a bit quicker. No, doesn't like that. Okie dokie. Let's go back and let's put it back to 10 by 10 with 50 jumps. Yeah, I think the auto step is probably something we want. Or auto change X and Y we do want. don't we? I don't know what auto step is. Probably check the manual. It's auto step that it actually does the movement. Yeah. It does look weird without the diagonals though, doesn't it? So we'll probably put those back in. But it is concerning that it won't allow us. Doesn't seem to have the memory. And it could be that we have to change some of the settings to make this have a lot more memory, because the computer I'm running here has i9 processor, what is it, NVIDIA 3080, whatever that is, graphics processor. Like, it's a top of the range computer with 30 gigabytes DDR5 RAM. So it should be more than capable, but it could be that Clickteam's creating this tiny little low memory sort of playground or compartment for this game to run in. So we might need to get the game to ask for a bit more memory, but we shall try and figure that out in tomorrow's video. This was quite an eventful one. Got me worried there for a second. I'd have to code the whole thing again. And the discovery that I don't know what rows and columns are, given the fact that, wow. Just anyway, if you want to comment on my stupidity, please do so. Otherwise, click like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thank you very much.